I have been watching crucial levels on a lot of these charts, including, of course, HBAR over the last couple of days, because again, this market has been very bearish. However, on the lower time frame structure, we are starting to see something very, very interesting. We are watching a structure flips bullish yet again. Now with HBAR, we're not at the point where it is extremely bullish. We have our higher lows. This is very good to see, but we need to clear this 15-cent level. This will create a higher high going off of the December 2nd high, going off of the November 28th high, and then we can start to build towards the additional highs that we need to break on this chart. But this would be a very good sign that we are going to break to the upside. Now, again, this is the 4-hour chart, so I have been watching this closely. This is the lower time frame view. And so far on this structure, we are in a uptrend, and we are also maintaining lows. This is a very good sign that HBAR is continuing to flip into a bullish point of view. But we still need Bitcoin to play along. So far, Bitcoin has been doing very well. If you guys have been watching my previous videos, then you already know that, yes, we are still maintaining an uptrend here. We're still maintaining higher lows. So Bitcoin still looks very good. And also, by the way, Bitcoin has higher highs. So Bitcoin is looking extremely good, which is why right now, when it comes to a lot of these altcoin charts, I'm mainly watching the prior low or the prior highs to be broken here. Even looking at it on the 24-hour view, we still have those higher lows, but we still need to flip those highs that we previously hit into, higher highs. So these are the two main highs that I'm watching for HBAR to break over very soon. And then after we do that, then we could start to carve out a path to the high going back to November 10th, which is around like almost 20 cents. And then after that, October 28th at about roughly 22 cents. And then we look at all of the additional highs throughout the year that we need to break back over. So, we have a lot of work to do, but so far price action, especially on the lower time frame structure view, has been looking very good. Now, we have been watching as some pretty big updates are getting pushed around a few of these ecosystems. Hedera is not shy to that. Now, recently, we just got an update from the Hedera Foundation on two big things. Number one was USDC. So we got a few big updates regarding how USDC is now listed on 5 centralized exchanges on Hedera. On top of that, we saw a 36% increase in smart contract calls. Then we saw a 219% increase in USDC transactions on Hedera as well. But then we also got another update regarding DeFi and the ETF around HBAR. 47% increase in total network transactions excluding the Hedera consensus service. On top of that, we also saw 54.3 million in ETF trading volume since the HBAR inception, which was very good. And then a 715% increase in lending and borrowing contract calls. So Hedera is killing it across the board from stablecoins to DeFi and even the ETF demand. This is only going to increase more and more as more products launch, but also we're starting to see even bigger updates happening around ETFs with names like Archix. We just got this update from Archix, which was Archix Exchange is proud to announce the tokenization and first on-chain transaction of the Canary HBAR ETF on the Hedera network. Now, if you guys do remember, I think it was like around August, maybe even September, we got a big update from Archix that they were going to be tokenizing money market funds on the Hedera network. Even right now, I know that there's no tracked volume or value on RWA.xyz. However, if we're looking at some of the lists here, it looks like they removed it, but Archix used to have a full breakdown of like multiple funds that were going to essentially be listed on Hedera. I wish that they never got rid of that, but there was like around like 5 or maybe even more funds that were going to be listed on Hedera. So I'm watching to see a big update from RWA.xyz. I've been waiting this entire year for them to track volume, but it seems as though it's just not going to happen this year. It looks like 2026 is going to be the time where we could actually track on-chain value and volume with Hedera tokenized RWAs. However, we do have here that on Thanksgiving, while traditional US markets were closed, Archix facilitated a live out-of-hours transaction of the Tokenized Canary HBAR ETF. This demonstrates how regulated financial products can transact 24/7 on blockchain infrastructure, even during market closures for public holidays. And here we have over here the official announcement. And then we do have the breakdown. So Archix, the UK EU regulated digital asset platform, today announced the tokenization and first on-chain transaction of the Canary HBAR ETF on the Hedera network. The transaction demonstrates how regulated assets can operate on blockchain infrastructure in a continuous 24/7 trading cycle, even during market closures for public holidays. Archix facilitated a live transaction of the tokenized Canary HBAR ETF during off hours on Thursday, November 27th, 2025, when traditional US markets were closed. Tokenizing the Canary HBAR ETF on Hedera is a significant step forward in bridging traditional and digital markets. This initiative showcases how regulated financial products can exist and transact on-chain while maintaining the compliance and oversight expected by institutions. This represents new functionality for ETFs. Executing transactions of a tokenized ETF on Hedera, including outside of standard market hours, demonstrates the real-world benefits of distributed ledger technology for modern finance. And yeah, again, this is another huge step for this technology. It's also a clear confirmation of how disruptive this technology is as well. Now, I also figured if we are on Archix's website, why not just go back to September when we got that big update that we are going to see a full basket of money market funds that will be listed on Hedera. This is with Hedera. And if we are looking into this, right, this does include Aberdeen, BlackRock, State Street, and Legal in General. These are going to be the players that are essentially bringing in all of their money market funds to be tokenized on Hedera. Again, the same exact benefits that we just saw with this ETF is exactly what's going to be accomplished through this initiative, except this is with the largest players out there. I mean, we're talking about BlackRock, State Street. These are massive giants. So we are just at the beginning phase of tokenizing traditional funds, assets. I mean, everything will be on chain. And it seems as though Hedera is one of the key leaders here. Now, on top of that, talking about institutional players, talking about, even BlackRock as well. We just saw a big update from Anchorage Digital. They're deepening institutional access to Hedera. HBAR is now available through custody support on their website. The best part about Anchorage is that, number one, they're investors. They have some pretty big investors, including, of course, Goldman Sachs and Visa. But also, we do know that Anchorage Digital Bank is in play as well. At the same exact time that they are working with some of the biggest names in traditional finance, like, for example, BlackRock, Rex Osprey, Grayscale. We also have a few other names here as well. If you just go and look at the list, I mean, this is a very significant list. Obviously, a lot of great names from the space as well. Western Union is on here, but these are just some of their clients. When we think about how big some of these platforms are, and now they're expanding access to HBAR, it's very exciting. But also, talking about BlackRock, talking about institutional players, talking about all of these big TradFi names, Brian Armstrong, Coinbase CEO, recently was on a big stage talking to everyone about tokenization and how it is the future and how it's time to bring every asset on chain. Now, at the same exact time, guess who was on stage with him? Larry Fink, BlackRock CEO, that recently wrote a full-on breakdown with Rob Goldstein talking about how tokenization can modernize market infrastructure, enhancing efficiency, transparency, and access by connecting traditional and digital finance. Tokenization is shaping the next evolution of global markets. This is clear confirmation of the big shift coming to the space. And Hedera has been prepared for this since day one. They launched the Hedera Tokenization Studio. This goes back roughly over a year ago. On top of that, they've been working with major players like Red Swan since going back to 2021 to tokenize things like real estate. But the biggest thing, and we recently just talked about it as well. You guys probably remember this update, right? We recently witnessed Hedera begin working with the Georgia, a full country. With the Ministry of Justice of Georgia, they unveiled an MOU positioning the nation to implement Hedera across the public sector. Now, we recently talked about this. It's a big deal. But what if I told you it's even bigger than we thought? HBAR Tata recently quoted this and said Georgia is moving its entire property market onto blockchain, the largest real estate tokenization use case on earth. The National Land Registry of Georgia will run on Hedera, and this is only the beginning. This is the CEO of StegX Finance saying this, Daniel Radwanski. We have over here from his LinkedIn, Georgia is moving its entire property market onto blockchain. The country just became the largest real estate tokenization use case on earth. We started what will become the largest real-world tokenization project of 2025, not a property, not a district. The National Land Registry of Georgia will run on Hedera. Together with the Ministry of Justice and the National Digital Transformation Task Force and Hedera Foundation, we are building a new digital foundation for the country, a system where ownership, identity, and transfer no longer depend on paper, stamps, or physical presence. Georgia is becoming one of the first countries in the world where real estate can be verified, transacted, and financed entirely digitally with the help of DLT. This is not just a technology upgrade. It is a new economic infrastructure. Because once a land registry becomes digital, secure, and programmable, something powerful happens. Cross-border capital can finally flow without friction. Global investors can access an entire national real estate market transparently. Developers in Georgia can raise capital faster and more efficiently. The government gains a system that is tamper-proof and future-proof. This is what happens when a country moves from legacy paperwork to digital rails for the first time ever for its most important asset class, real estate. And this is only the beginning. Land registry is the foundation, but it connects naturally to permitting, mortgages, notarization, identity, and broader public services. Georgia is building the blueprint for how nations modernize their real estate markets and unlock global liquidity. This is big. It's bigger than we thought. And it is in line with what's happening right now around tokenization with what every single TradFi giant's telling us. Hedera is one of the key leaders facilitating this evolution. This is way bigger than what I thought, what you thought, what everyone is thinking, because we don't even know the scale of which this will target. We are at the beginning phase of all of this. And Hedera is becoming a key leader. Today, we're watching lower time frame structure. Today, we're watching charts right now. We're looking at the price action. In a couple years, we won't even be talking about price action. We will be too busy looking into researching and studying how much money is flowing on chain through these networks. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely like, subscribe, turn notifications on because I'm free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, thanks for watching. Peace out.